I don't want
a loaded question. I don't mean
yeah,
it to be.
Yeah, I guess from our standpoint, our effort is to try and make sure that everybody's rights are protected in this process. And again, it kind of goes back to the content issue a little bit. We can't judge the content of your organization. You know, as representatives of the city, we can't do that. From the standpoint that somebody else comes in with an entirely different content, we can't make a determination differently than the way we're going to deal with you. So I would hope that you would understand from our perspective, we get some pressure back too that says, well, how are you handling this? And the press is called. I would hope that if you've read the press articles, you would recognize that we're trying to convey maybe a little different message than you've seen around the country.
Yeah.
And I think we want that to continue. And I have talked to different of our officials with the city. I think they're supportive of this approach. So, you know, to the extent that we can continue this relationship, that's what we want to do too.
Okay, I see. Cos, Morrow, Eric, I stacked myself, and then Carolyn.
2 quick points. If the permit is a legal agreement, you said, and it's significant, that you don't have a problem with the occupation just entering occupation Iowa City. The purpose of a legal binding agreement is that if any one of the parties involved has any complaints, they can go to the court of law. They have other recourses of action. Do you think that these people here can go to the court of law as occupation Iowa City? I don't think they could, but so long as you have a written signed paper in your hand, you are already an established legal institution. You can go to court, you can take action against us. I would like people to maybe consider that. Second point is I totally appreciate your honesty and your good intention towards this, but are you going to be able to continue to act upon your own conscience? What if you get a phone call from Des Moines, from Washington? Are you going to be able to say, no, our city supports these people and we are not doing what you want us to do? Those are the concerns that I have.
And I can respond, right?
Go for it. Yeah, that's
Okay.
your job. You're here for that.
All right. The first point is that you don't think you can go to the court of law and challenge that?
As Occupy Iowa City.
I do not know. I'm not aware of any other occupations that as an occupation attempted to have representation in the court of law. I'm not a lawyer, I don't know, but it is a point. It is significant that you specifically mentioned that is acceptable to sign as occupation Iowa City. What
And we discussed that with the city attorney, and she indicated that that would be acceptable.
to you, yes.
Yes.
What about other legal institutions, the courts, other places?
Well, there's no reason for us to go to the courts and ask that question. You know, technically, either side could probably make some legal argument and go to the courts at this point, and neither side has chosen to do that. This is kind of rarefied air in terms of where we're both operating. I mean, it's something that neither of us have tested each other on, and so I think both are having to act in good faith, and that's what I think you've seen on both sides.
Right.
Okay, I've got Morrow, Eric, me, and Carolyn.
Yeah, I just want to express our thankfulness for you to come here, and also formally, in my name only, because I can only speak for myself, apologize for the delay. But we're glad that you're here. Thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, Eric.
I'll take myself off.
Okay. I'll put. Now I'm just speaking as a participant. First of all, I'd like to hear you directly address what Cos said about what happens if you get a phone call all of a sudden, even though we've got a permit, and somebody's upset about us. And the second part of my question is, what happens if we don't sign the permit? What's going to happen?
On the first question, we've already had phone calls. We've had a number of phone calls, and in most cases, they haven't been in the same pattern of the way you've proceeded. So the attorney has opined that it's not a spontaneous event. It's not the kind of free speech kind of issues that kind of cover what your approach has been. And the second part was the second
part is, what happens if we don't sign the permit today or now, this 30-day one?
I think that the press has been calling on a regular basis. And so the question has been raised, well, what's next? Because the public understands that the initial permission or initial occupation was done under these spontaneous provisions. So the press then says, well, how long is the spontaneous situation going to continue, right? And the answer has been, a reasonable amount of time. Spontaneous hasn't been defined in the ordinance by the number of days, but at some point, I think most reasonable people would say that it has to run its course, that it's going to run at a period of time. And then what happens? Well, then our answer has been a permit is required. That would be the same condition that would exist for anybody else wishing to come into the park. Now, what happens then if you don't secure the permit?
Yeah,
That's
sure,
the
because
question.
these seems to be like your problems, not our problems.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is my problem. It is my problem, and a lot of people make it my problem, and they let me know it's my
That's
problem.
why we pay you the big
Yeah,
bucks.
that's exactly right. Look, I have consequences for my actions. Everybody has consequences for their actions or inactions, and I'm not here to suggest any course of action is going to occur. I'm asking you to consider this. We came over last Friday to talk to you about the permit process. We said, take your time, figure out how you resolve these kinds of issues. We understood your General Assembly process. We said, take it, if that's what you're going to do, take it there. We don't want to be the story, okay? We don't want to be the issue. You folks have an issue that you're trying to bring to attention to the public, and I think, again, that content is your calling and your decision. I can't judge that, so I haven't really contemplated what's going to happen if, in fact, that doesn't go that way. But I would say to you, you need to think about, the message you're trying to convey and how does that play in the court of public opinion. We're here offering the process. We're here offering you the continued use. Yeah, you can claim, that you have that ability and you can do it. I'm not here to threaten you. I'm not going to do that. That's not my style.
Okay. I have Eric with